Hi Kiwi, alright, we are back at another episode of Hades. Today we are going to be running the Achilles Spear. We are going to take Demeter's keepsake, and we are going to, once again, try for that legendary maximum crystal beam build. Just to make sure that I can get as many beams out on the field as possible, I'm going to take Extreme Measures 4 and Calisthenics Program, and we're going to hope that we get basically the two boons we care about: Demeter's cast and Demeter's tier 2 that affects that cast, and then of course Artemis with her duo crystal clarity to guarantee that we actually have beams that are relevant.
I've lifted the cold from the earth, much as I said I would, grandson. But near your father's realm, I've decided it shall stay the way it is. Bereft of warmth. As a reminder to us all about all this.
Alright, fair enough. I guess that's the easy way for the devs not to have to update the area where we fight Hades, although it would have been cool, metaphorically, literally, whatever, to actually see that area having thawed out and having kind of a greener pasture sort of vibe to it. Oh well. I totally understand that to get this far into the game, most people wouldn't see it. So, I mean, and on the one hand, it is a nice little touch of detail, so it would be missed by a lot of players, but it would be appreciated by those who did get to see it. Got our first palm level, and we're going to take our as many keys as we can get because we need rerolls for this. We need that duo boon from Artemis to really make this build even viable for DPS. As you can see, I'm not really using my crystals for much damage right now. The other things we of course want are Artemis' legendary to have more charges on the beam, and any chaos gates that grant cast damage, or more importantly cast stones, bloodstones, are going to be the core of this build. Our goal is to see a number greater than 16, which I think is our previous best. If I can get to 20, I'm happy, but if I can get more than that, I mean, I'll be ecstatic. In the meantime, what are the latest givings on our side of the house? Well, Kiwi and I have made a bunch of fun. We've done our usual giant meal prep. Namely, I made 2 pounds of meat's worth of meat sauce, which we froze a bunch of it. All right, Zeus. Zeus, do you duo in any capacity that I would want? I mean, it fills out our god pool. Alternatively, the hammer could be fun, but we don't really need the hammer in this build. I think I'd take Zeus here just so that the sooner we get 4 gods, the sooner we don't have to worry about other gods getting in the way. Yeah, let's take Zeus here, and hopefully we may be forced into one more god after that. But as long as we guarantee Artemis in Asphodel, we should be fine. Anyway, yeah. So I made an unnecessary amount of meat sauce, froze half of it at least. Actually, probably more than half, which is unusual for me. Usually, I just let it all stay in the fridge and I eat it over the course of a couple days. Because when it comes to meat sauce, I will eat that as a meal in and of itself.
I have every confidence in you, young man. Now you remember that. And take my blessing here, and fight your way on out of there for me.
I could take a tier 2 that doesn't lock us out. So I could take Heaven's Vengeance here, and then I don't have to worry about potential duos from Zeus. Alternatively, I do take a core boon, and then that locks a slot, so there are fewer boons that Demeter can offer that I don't want. Basically, I think it's Snowburst is the one we really need. Or it may not be Snowburst. I'm blanking on the name. Heaven's Vengeance, though, I guess for now, let's take Heaven's Vengeance, because I really want to make sure I get that Crystal Clarity duo. Locks in Zeus, takes up a god slot. This game is very fussy about guaranteeing that you see 4 gods before you get offered the same gods over and over again. We will take the mini-boss here. It's a bunch of keys, or it's not. Okay. All right, so we've got 5 rerolls, which will be
connected to a fountain.
We have we got lucky. We got an Artemis here, so I won't have to force her in the next floor either, which is great for us. Of course, right now we're going to be kind of depending on the core damage, the base damage of the Achilles Spear. I'm going to try and take. Oh, I forgot I'm still running Meg. Oops, I was expecting a Sisyphus there.
Stay out of my way.
Need a hunting partner, Zagreus? Not that I'm able to join you myself down there, or even hear you respond for that matter, but anyway, here.
So I enjoy your attack the most, and we are offered a very juicy looking attack. 15% crit chance with 38% damage modifier. The damage modifier isn't outstanding, but when you crit, it sure feels good. And we have the 150% damage modifier that the Achilles Spear gives on top of all that. So, while it's only a 15% chance to crit right now, if we get some pressure points, awesome. If we get support fire, I won't complain, because ultimately we need either exit wounds, which I don't think we can get with Stygian Soul, so it'll have to be either pure pressure points or, what's the other one? Not exit wounds, pressure points, and... oh gosh, I'm blanking on it.
The power of the gods.
Oh, support fire, duh. Support fire. So support fire would... Marquise, man, we are stacking up a lot of rerolls, but we haven't had a chance to use them yet. Hopefully we can get to use them on things like palms for the thing that extends the duration of our cast. Because we that's the number we want the most. More duration on our cast is basically what we're aiming for, and then of course the cast stones. Anyway, what was I saying? So, oh, I've completely lost my train of thought. Forgive me, I am running on like 4 hours of sleep. I slept extremely poorly both like 2 days in a row. The day before I had another round of my I'm so cool I sleep with my eyes open gimmick that I seem to pull off regularly. Let's see, nothing I want from here. All right, let's take the Chaos Gate and hope for a cast stone. I would have taken the Zeus Artemis duo, but I don't think I need to if I don't have to.
Out of the infinitely spanning possibilities before us, son of Hades, I have arbitrarily selected only 3 again from which to let you choose.
Admittedly, maybe taking Artemis there was the better option because it sets us up for her legendary, more likely sets us up for her legendary, or we could have locked in the special slot or the call slot to block Demeter boons, but the chance of an extra cast stone here is too good to pass up. I have the rerolls for it, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to try for it. Alternatively, if we get another enhanced rarity boon, I might try for that.
Got anything else?
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so I cannot cast, but afterwards I gain an additional cast stone. That's phenomenal. That's huge. And probably
Not to make it so.
far better than I could have expected. Now here's the question: do I take Ares with a similar mentality of we lock in our 4th god? You know what? We have Artemis. Let's lock in our 4th god, and that guarantees that that only Artemis and Demeter, and then the other 2 that we don't care about show up. Instead of the game trying to force us into other gods that we don't strictly need. Like I said, at this point, really all we need is Artemis's duo, Artemis's legendary, any chaos boons that give us more casts, and then of course, Crystal Clarity, the duo, and then of course, just the Demeter boon that extends our duration on the cast, which is really the big thing at this point that we really want and need, because we want to start stacking palm levels on that as soon as possible.
You bear Varatha, the eternal spear. I thought it lost. Have you any idea how many lives it drank during your father's glory days?
Drank is a interesting way to refer to how how Varatha was used, but alright, we'll take Battle Rage here. It'll be completely irrelevant for our build, but kind of in the same vein as taking Heaven's Vengeance. We're just trying to lock in boons here. Sisyphus or HP. We don't need HP for this build, I would argue. Sisyphus gives us darkness that we can spend on the mirror that is still
Just on a little break.
still desperately trying to rank up.
I know it isn't much, Highness, but I do hope this helps.
Looks like we've exhausted most of the Sisyphus commentary at this point, so... Or do I take coin just to make sure I can afford palms later on? That might actually... Since we are trying to get a funny gimmick run, why don't we do that? We'll take the coins this time.
Here you are.
Meta progression is fun, but gimmick builds are more fun, aren't they?
Hey, Boldy, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Eat people. Why don't I just keep going with that?
See that, Boldy?
5% damage reduction is nice. Alright, here's our first shop. Do we see Artemis or... Ugh, not Zeus. I don't want Zeus. So I think here I just save my coin. Didn't see any fancy pots. Alright, on to Meg. We should make pretty quick work of her. I can't use my cast. Well said, Tisiphone. You got his name right and you said murder. That's like the best of both worlds. Oops, I said I couldn't use my cast and still use it anyway. I wonder what happens if I try to use Meg here. I will give that a try in a second, once we phase her, I think. Of all the bosses, I find Tisiphone overall relatively manageable. Meg is definitely the easiest. I think Tisiphone is a strong second.
Can't do that.
Okay. That makes sense that you can't use Meg's keepsake here. Or not keepsake, but chthonic companion, if you will. I'm not surprised by that, but I was curious about it enough to try anyway. Electo I find overall significantly harder than the other two, but as far as like the first region's boss, they all feel relatively manageable for me nowadays, even with Forced Overtime, although Electo Forced Overtime with, say, like Arthur, or the aspect of Arthur, or any of the aspects that just make you attack really slow, it can be pretty rough, especially if you get all three sisters who are just spamming all their abilities at once. Despite calling Tisiphone overall an easier boss, I sure did take a lot of damage from her, didn't I?
Go wrongfully accuse somebody else.
I think it's fine. I'm not too worried about it. We do have Extreme Measures 4, so I would like some extra survivability where possible, but I won't need it if we get the
You
build.
withstood the combined might of the Furies.
If we get
here.
if we get the build I'm aiming for, we won't really have to worry about that sort of thing. Do I buy the HP here? No, let's save our coin as much as possible. We might even use the coin purse on the next floor just to guarantee extra money. What I'm kind of thinking about doing is, once I do get the duo and the Demeter boon that lets us increase our duration,
Next floor.
I'd probably switch to Palm Blossom and sell every other boon we have for the sake of trying to get as many stacks on just the cast and the duration extension as possible. Hopefully we see Demeter again soon, but thankfully we are getting Artemis pretty quickly, so here's hoping to a duo. I will reroll once for it, or I will take a tier 2 boon that sets us up for her legendary that way. Maybe that's what I do. If I'm offered a tier 2 boon that can offer me, that can get me her legendary, I'll take that first, and then after that we aim for rerolling on Artemis when she shows up to get either of those two options. I do have the mirror perk that increases duo and legendary chances, so the odds of us seeing it are fairly likely.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Alright, Artemis, Hunter's Mark or Pressure Points. So I'm pretty sure Pressure Points is the precursor to your legendary, so if that's the case, we will take that. Yep, Pressure Points. So it's only a 2% chance to crit, but critting on multiple beams that are ticking every 0.2 seconds, that'll add up quickly. Oh, you know what? I just realized we needed Poseidon, and we wanted Mirage Shot for this build. Oh well. We'll have to do it again.
What again?
No matter. We'll see what we can get. Maybe we still get a ridiculous number of beams anyway. And hey, it's an excuse to play Extreme Measures 4 on this game in a whole, because I really don't play around much with Extreme Measures as a whole. And then on top of that,
Oh, that was from
wow, I
Chaos.
still have that Chaos Curse going. I haven't gotten my second cast yet. Oh. Definitely not a fast, not a fast Infernal Trove, I have to say, unfortunately. Only 59 coin, almost 1/3 of... Yeah, it does feel a little worthless. The damage we took wasn't great either. We'll take the Darkness here because I'd rather Darkness over Gems. Yeah, they give 10 coins, but this gives a little HP, and while that doesn't go much in the way of survivability, it is something. Oh my goodness, Chaos, can we... Chaos, we need to have that that cast stone sooner than later. I would like to at least sort of use the build that I'm building around. Ooh, we are being offered another Chaos Gate. It's good for us. I will keep trying to do this build until I get a ridiculous number of cast stones on, or of Demeter casts on the field at once. I don't know how many we'll get, but the more the merrier, you know? And since we have this many rerolls, there's a decent chance we see another
My Chaos boon evolved.
really nice boon from Chaos here. Shop or Chaos? I do think I take Chaos just because of the significant impact they can have on the run. Now, where did that... I swear I saw a Chaos portal. Am I dumb? There it is.
I can take it.
I am dumb, but I also found it. Alright, Chaos.
In the name of
Another
Hades.
cast gem, please. Afterward, gain +1 Bloodstone. Total HP is reduced by 26. That's fine.
Fishing time then.
And there's Demeter with a high rarity boon.
Got you.
There's a reasonable chance we
That's a
find
Monty.
the tier 2 boon that we are hunting for. Did catch a specimen. More importantly, do I catch a tier 2 cast boon on this
Time for
boat?
another voyage aboard the barge of death.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop these because I'm so prone to getting hit by them. We'll get our giant enemy void stone. Oh no, they didn't spawn today. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that. You know what? Actually, here,
Meg,
this feels like a good time for Meg. Hit most of them there, and then got hit immediately thereafter. Not ideal.
Thank you for that.
Oh man, imagine if I had gotten Mirage Shot. We would have had so many casts just by virtue of that alone. Plus, if we get Artemis's legendary, oh well. I still feel, I have a sense that we're going to have a lot of casts even without Mirage Shot. Will it beat 16? Maybe not. But I think there's a reasonable chance. Definitely wasted Meg here. I thought I would do more damage with it. I clearly did not. I'm used to just having the one giant Void Stone, which, you know what? Oh, you know why it wasn't here? We didn't take Benefits Package or Middle Management, whichever one it is. We didn't take either of those. I am taking far more damage than I would like, although I don't really care if I waste a Death Defiance here. Realistically speaking, I will more than make up for it in damage once we get Crystal Clarity going.
My grandmother.
And there it is, Crystal Clarity. Now here's the issue. I could re-roll here and look for that tier 2 boon that we really want to start stacking up, but I think for the sake of the run, I'll probably start with Crystal Clarity and then hunt for that boon afterwards. It does mean I can sell the Artemis boon now and start palming up the cast, though, I guess. There's no guarantee we see Demeter sooner, though. Whereas Crystal Clarity, we have 2 different gods potentially offering it to us. Crop hitting the cast would be cool, too, but I think this is going to sound really counterproductive to what I want, but I think I'm going to roll here, honestly, just for that tier 2. Now, what's the tier 2's name? It's not Snowburst. I mixed that one up. It is Glacial Glare. That's what it is. We want Glacial Glare. So, Demeter, forgive me for this. This is a terrible decision, and, like...
What about these?
Okay, reroll one more time. Okay, I get it. We're taking Crystal Clarity. Jeez. Okay. I guess we don't get a choice. Wow. Three
blessings are better than one.
3 uses of a reroll, only to... Like, we rerolled twice, but we used 3 keys to do that. Or 3 reroll chances to do that. And the game just said, no, you take Crystal Clarity. Fuck you. Or, oops. Well, I am not going to remember to edit that out. So, Kiwi, if you're awake and you hear that, forgive me. Not that you particularly care if I curse here or there, but I do. I like to keep this channel PG. I guess it's PG-13. You're allowed 1 curse per movie, right? That's how that works, I think. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of movies. I remember reading about that somewhere once upon a time. But, well, the fact that we have Crystal Clarity is pretty great. That'll up our damage, but we do really need Glacial Glare to fully get this build online. Because we want to have as many of these on the field, and the best way to do that is extend their duration.
That's a relief.
Lowest rarity Glacial Clarity only gives like 2 seconds, so it's not a lot. I want an Ares boon. I could sell it and potentially afford more things in sticks, but I think the better option is let's go ahead and take this hammer. The reason why I'm taking the hammer is because the hammer will be forced upon us in sticks, and that chamber could be better used for a Demeter boon potentially. So rather than risk having it forced on us, we'll take it now when there's never been a better option for it. Ares is really just not an interesting god to me in this build. It's fun to see him, of course. Kiwi loves her edgelord god, and it's wonderful. He's got her aesthetic down pat, but I don't think it is exactly what we need for this build. That said, it's pretty funny to see what Crystal Clarity plus the Achilles passive that enhances Crystal Clarity's damage by 150%,
Now to fix
how they
up
work
this
together. Triple jab, the rated point, or quick spin. It doesn't really matter. We'll just take triple jab because it affects us the least. And then we'll go for the shop here and hope for a Demeter boon. All right, Chaos, Charon, not Chaos. Please, please, please. All right, we do not see Glacial Glare, so we're gonna reroll once.
How about some other boons instead?
Just give it to me, Demeter, please. We did get Rare Crop to hit the cast, which is pretty awesome. I don't really need a palm here, though. So I'm gonna hold off on buying the palm, save up for other things that we can afford in the shop. I want the palms to go on Glacial Glare, but we have yet to get a single dose of Glacial Glare.
Hello, Lenny. What have you been up to since I last destroyed your multitude of heads?
Interesting. Keep it up, good boy.
Not yet.
All right, we still don't have our Chaos Boon to give us the 3rd cast gem,
Can't do that.
but I have to appreciate when you're running Stygian Soul, the more stacks of any sort of Bloodstone increasing boons you get, the better it feels very quickly. Like you're dropping your cast very quickly, very often. And unfortunately, if you kind of place it behind walls like that, you're not going to necessarily get to see it pay off, but when it does pay off, it feels good. I promise it feels good. Lots of things to dodge here, and I somehow managed to dodge all of them. Feels good. Just gonna keep using my... I'm gonna use my special defensively and use it as a dash, basically. Alright, I think that should be, honestly, a pretty clean Lurny. I don't think we're taking much more damage here. I mean, look at our damage. This is without any enhancements on what is it? Glacial Crystal, or whatever. Crystal Clarity is what we'll call it now.
And don't come back.
What is your cast actually called, Demeter?
Chaos Bones
Crystal Beam.
switched to a new effect.
I knew that. I knew it was called Crystal Beam. I made a title about that a while back. Oh well. Kiwi, I overread. I was saying I'm pretty darn tired right now. I've got a little bit of a headache. I was saying the reason why I didn't sleep 2 nights ago very well was because I had another episode of where I, ridiculous as it may sound, slept with my eyes open, I suppose, and have resulted in severe dry eye in my left eye. The vision is severely blurred, and I can't actually read any of the text on this screen except for keepsakes and conch shell. Those are the things that are large enough to read out of my left eye with my right eye closed. I guess we'll just take Palm Blossom and start stacking levels, or do I force a Poseidon just for the sake of seeing Mirage Shot this late into the game? I don't think it's worth it. Let's just take Palm Blossom. Alright, I don't need to replenish Death Defiances. I really don't need them. We'll take Yarn of Ariadne, because that gives us a chance of, if we do see Demeter, we can afford the boon that we really want. I'll hold on these. Actually, I guess I don't really need them anymore, do I? So we'll sell Battle Rage at least. I don't need that one specifically. Yeah, it ups the damage on our cast. But it also could steal points from Palm Blossom, I think. So we'll reduce the number of chances that gets hit. All right, Demeter, please give us Glacial Glare. All right, we've got Coin versus Hammer, kind of the same idea as what I had before. I'll take the Hammer here for the sake of not having it show up in sticks, because you can see up to 3 hammers in theory. But it's really just as a result of having taken the anvil from the shop. Otherwise, I don't think there are many instances where you actually get genuinely offered 3 hammers. Oh geez. I would very much enjoy seeing Glacial Glare, not only for the duration extent, but it also makes you inflict chill on enemies hit. Breaching Skewer, Vicious Skewer. I guess let's take Vicious Skewer, because that just works inherently well. We're going to be tossing out our special fairly regularly just to enhance our casts anyway. Oh, nope. No choice. Oh, there's a Zeus boon. Don't really care about that, so I guess we just get as much damage on the cast as possible at this point. Doesn't feel like we're being loved by Demeter very much. She seems kind of salty today as it is, given her comment against Hades, so maybe just wasn't meant to be. The gods were not in alignment. Don't worry though, Kiwi. I promise I am going to get the dream Crystal Beam build one day. It's going to be like maximum means. It's going to be just ridiculous. And I mean, at this point, if I do get that build going, it's a pretty easy win once you do have it stacked up, because you can just drop your beams and then focus on dashing away and dodging rather than DPSing. Because the beams just do so much damage overall. Oh right, we have 3 of them now. The Chaos Boon popped. Awesome.
Power of Olympus.
Another level on our Crystal Beam, sure. And then we've got the shop we'll take, because this could offer us the boons we're looking for specifically. Demeter? Demeter, come on, show up already.
I'll pay for that.
Well, I'll take or you know what, I'll take Side Hustle. It's not a whole lot of coin, but it's the only thing that really benefits us here, so we'll take it. There's a higher rarity Artemis. This could set us up for her legendary. And I do have a reroll left.
You seek the champion. You must confront me first.
Easily done.
Beware all of us.
I like that they have custom all the Chthonic companions seem to have like custom dialogue for the different bosses you can encounter, or the mini bosses as well. Depends, I suppose. This feels pretty good. Like, even if I'm only getting 3 on the field at a time, or 6 on the field at a time. Yeah, we're capping at 6 because we do not have Glacial Glare. But 6 is still a lot. A lot. And look how safe it is, too, because we're just dashing away and not even engaging with the fight. We can basically use our special as a dodge and then save our dashes for afterwards if we need to.
Well done. I yield.
And it's probably better to do it that way, because then I get enhanced damage on the cast every time I dash away.
Man.
All right, Artemis, do you do it? Do you do it? You did not do it. We've got one reroll. Let's see if we get it.
Hate to be ungrateful here.
No luck. Hunter's Mark would work pretty well for us because we're hitting every 0.2 seconds with multiple beams. We're going to be proccing Hunter's Mark a lot. So I think that's the route we'll take. Epic level Hunter's Mark is not bad in terms of DPS potential. Generally bad for everything else, though. For what we want specifically, it might be a little bad. Didn't know where the enemy's respawning, so I just tossed out my cast where I could. Whoop, hold on. Want to get hit by that. Those arrows hurt, especially if you have the active punishment that increases trap damage. My goodness, dude, those arrows traps hurt a lot. They're like 60 a pop. Oh, speaking of a pop, got popped there for a second. Almost ran into the arrow again.
Look what I found.
Another level on Crystal Beam. What do we got here?
Show me, Charon.
I don't really care about Death Defiances. I think we're fine. I guess we take more coin here because I don't really feel like I need HP. Despite being down at Death Defiance, I think our relative risk of death at this point is fairly minimal. Best way to deal with these guys when you're running a build like this is to dash through them after you drop all your beams, and then they'll face you rather than the beams, and you get all the damage for free. Oh, hey, no respawning, mister.
Who else?
Oop. You know, I saw those coming at me in basically slow motion and still chose not to dodge. Kind of an impressive commitment to getting hit there. You never know what to expect. But if there's one thing I don't know where I'm going with that line of commentary. I was going to say, you never know what to expect, but you definitely know to expect that I'm going to get hit. Which is completely contradictory to the first half of that statement. I'm so tired, Kiwi. Anyway, as far as the reason that I didn't sleep well today, I don't really have a good excuse. I just couldn't fall back asleep after waking up at a good 4 hours earlier. And so I just figured, you know what? I'll casually play some games, I'll take some Tylenol and rest my head. And by rest my head, I meant I'm gonna record. I'm gonna play some games in the background, or some other games when I'm not recording. And I don't know, my priorities are totally screwed up. I did genuinely try to go back to sleep because I know I need it, but I just couldn't make it happen. Insomnia is fun, Kiwi. I'm preaching to the choir on that one, I know, but still, it's not fun. It's not fun. There will come a time when I finally fall asleep, and it will be lovely. I think the main issue is I injured my back. I don't know if it's specifically sciatica, but it's an interesting pain where it kind of wraps around my calf. And also crosses the top of my ankle.
Right out of me there.
If I'm following a nerve map, it's probably something related to the peroneal nerve, which is a offshoot of the sciatic nerve. Okay, we can gain 150 HP, or we could lose a Death Defiance here. Kind of risky business either way. I have to play super safe if I want this to work. So I'm gonna just kite these guys and take whatever HP I can get, honestly. Do need to take out these Void Stones if I want this to happen. Get that guy gone so he doesn't respawn. Like, see, this is what I was saying before about Hades. Like, I don't care that I'm on Extreme Measures 4. I can play extremely safe and not be punished for it. And while we don't fully heal, 68 HP...
Who is going to clean all this up?
68 HP plus 1 is pretty nice. And a Nectar that gives us potentially another palm... Oh, those don't give palm levels. Alright. Artemis can't offer us any duos, but we don't have any duos we want from her at this point, so we'll take it and see if we get her legendary here. The trial is scary because it's likely going to cost me some HP, but I think between the two, Artemis is the easier one to deal with, but if we get her legendary, she'll make dealing with Zeus easier too. No legendary. Okay, so then it doesn't particularly matter what I take, does it? Suppose I take either Hunter Dash or Artemis Aid just to lock in those slots and block off other things. We can always sell them later. All right, why don't we take Artemis's Aid? It's always fun to see all those arrows fly out and crit if we get the greater call.
Why, nephew, is this all some sort of jest to you? It isn't one that I appreciate.
You know, we probably actually can't get the duo between Artemis and Zeus since we have Stygian Soul, so maybe I take a core boon from him as well, and that'll block off another slot that Artemis is trying to offer us a core boon style. Oh, hold on. I'll get hit by these. Zeus's trial is a little bit random, I think.
Regenerating.
I think where his things spawn are kind of random. I might be mistaken about that. I'm not sure. They feel random. I mean, he's aiming like way away from where I was.
Not yet.
Well, despite the absence of glacial glare, we sure do have a pretty wild cast build already going for us. Like, it's funny, Crystal Beam feels like one of the weakest boons in the game.
All is forgiven and forgotten, Zagreus. What were we even going on about back there?
But you get the Artemis duo, you get a couple levels on the palms or some higher rarities, and it scales really quickly. Why do I have static discharge? Oh, Heaven's Vengeance. I'm like, do I have any lightning bolt type moves? All right, we will take the Thunder Flourish or Thunder Dash. I think we'll take Thunder Dash. It doesn't really matter, honestly. Palm or Shop? I think we take Shop with hopes of seeing either Artemis or Demeter. We stand to gain more from that. Random boon, it is
Now,
Artemis.
here's something for you.
Still no legendary. I guess we take Support Fire. Doesn't really matter what we take. I'll take her special, honestly. We only need one of these boons. One of those boons is precursor to her legendary, so we'll lock in the special slot. Now we don't have to worry about other things being offered in that slot. But how much do you want to bet Artemis doesn't even show up in sticks? Because that's pretty common. How much do you want to bet neither Artemis or Demeter?
Behold, Asterius! Our hated enemy has come to be dispatched before a loving crowd once more.
Let's bet that neither of those two gods show up in sticks, and I'm just going to be a very sad Jeff. But, I mean, all things considered, even if I didn't get what I wanted from Artemis and Demeter, I did get what I want from Chaos. So this is like the most generous Chaos has ever been for us with this sort of a build. It's effectively the equivalent of having Artemis's legendary. We want the dream where we get both, and we have not been gifted that. I have to give Artemis some more credit than I thought she deserved. Her cast actually did, or her call rather, her call did 510 damage in one hit, which really isn't that bad. Can't retrieve that. Okay, we've got the greater call. I'm gonna wait till the bull is phased, and then, oh, well, I got clipped. This is a little sketchy going into Hades maybe, but I think we're fine still. I'm not really keeping track of where I'm throwing this thing, unfortunately. Alright. The fun thing about this build is I suppose we do generate God Gauge extremely quickly because God Gauge scales based on the amount of damage you do a little bit, but more so the number of hits you land, and I am landing a lot of hits very quickly.
I'm empty.
What was with that turn out of nowhere, Asterius? I don't like that. Don't mind game me here. I don't need that on top of already losing 2 Death Defiances. Alright. Okay, there we go. Theseus, you're gonna have a bad time. Spam this. Toss out the cast. And goodbye, Theseus.
I shall return.
The melting of a man.
They say to never meet your heroes. That was for you, good Shade.
They say never to meet your heroes, and we meet our heroes over and over and over and over again.
You really think you can get out of here?
I don't think there's much to be gained by keeping the Palm Blossom on at this point. It's really just a matter of, do I take the coin purse to have an extra 150 coins to spend in the shop down here and potentially get the Artemis or Demeter boon that I really want? Do I take Distant Memory to increase my damage output? Or do I take the Lucky Tooth for an extra Death Defiance? I think I'm just gonna go the route of safety and not die. Not dying would be great. I could sell Hunter's Mark. Don't want to sell Hunter's Mark. I don't need this. Yeah, okay. On to the final floor.
To the surface.
So, this is kind of a half-hearted build. If we had gotten Mirage Shot, which, because of how things have been rolling, I imagine we would have been getting 12 casts on the field at once, since we have been so blatantly ignored by Glacial Glare. Like, the fact that we're not getting Glacial Glare until now, if at all. Let's see, there's Artemis. I called it no Demeters, but there are 2 Artemises. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and fish here. We'll do the Artemis chamber first and see if it gives us...
A scuffer.
and see if it gives us her legendary.
This one, I guess.
If it doesn't give us her legendary, we'll buy the one in the shop. If we don't have to buy it, I'd prefer not to, because then I can afford the meta progression item instead. Or the Hermes boon, just for more fun. Hermes, the side hustle boon that we got from Hermes earlier will very much be benefiting us now, because it will guarantee us a lot of coin. Unlike most of the other things that are like per encounter, get this boon, or get this benefit. For example, Palm Blossom, player 4 rooms get a level up on a random boon. The minor chambers of Styx, so these little smaller chambers before the big room at the end, don't typically give stacks of anything, but they do affect side hustle. They don't affect the Palm Blossom, they don't affect rare crop, I think. Maybe they do actually affect rare crop. I don't know how that one works, because it's not often that you get to experiment with rare crop this late in the game. Usually you've taken it by now, because it's not that appealing in Styx, where it's really hard to stack it up after that point. Anyway, I can play super safe if I want to. There's no real reason not to, honestly. Though I just dash around, spam my cast on anything that spawns. Oh, wow, I'm lucky I thread the needle on that one. That should have hit me. One downside to this cast focus build is it has no staggering effect, so enemies that can be staggered out of their attacks don't have that happen. And so
Taking the shot.
Rest in peace, that guy. Oh, he actually survived. Never mind. I guess don't rest in peace.
In the name of Hades.
Still no... Oh, man, still no legendary. We'll take Hunter Instinct, because that'll generate cast gauge really fast for us.
Let's have a look here.
Don't need HP. We've still got 2 charges of Meg. I don't really care if I use it or not outside of the Hades fight where it'll be relevant. I guess if I do a mini-boss chamber, it'll be good. So let's take this last Artemis boon. Final moment. Do we get the legendary? We do not. Unlucky. Unlucky. So very unlucky. So I guess we just maximize our crit chance, our crit damage, because Support Fire only launches every time we use a cast, not every time it hits. So it's not that exciting. We'll take Clean Kill, 30% more damage on crit. I'll see if I can afford that diamond, and if not, we'll take the Hermes boon. Do we go for another Palm, maybe hitting the cast on that one, or do I take the HP at this point? Doesn't feel like it terribly matters. We were given a very juicy looking start, and then had all of our potential taken away from us. We'll do the mini boss chamber. We should shred the mini boss pretty quickly. But man, Demeter and Artemis, very generous with their duo, and then nothing else. Honestly, Chaos was far more generous than either of those two gals. No matter, still a pretty strong build. I mean, it's about as strong as we could have expected it to get with bad RNG, I suppose. Like, we have a lot of palm stacks on this crystal. It's got severe diminishing returns. It's only gaining like 1 damage per palm. But when you're hitting every 0.2 seconds and have 6 of them, 1 damage, that's what, 6, that's 0.2, so that's 5 damage a second times 6. So that's 30 damage per second per palm level. So it's still pretty substantial. Is it outstanding? No, but it's kind of like Dionysus's boons. The palms, they add more than it feels like they should. Sadly, we did not get the... we didn't get an option to level up the crystal beam, so it's either pressure points or Hunter's Instinct, and I think Hunter's Instinct is more fun, but pressure points gives more damage to the cast.
Down the chute.
Okay, so there's a reasonable chance we can afford that diamond if I take the coin room, so we'll go ahead and do that. And if we get the unlucky 4 chamber sticks, I'll probably go Ares next and try to get Urge to Kill back, or whatever it is. No, it's not Blood Frenzy. It is Urge to Kill, I think. Or I'm blanking on the boon, but we want the boon that gives you increased damage on your cast, special, and attack. Because, I mean, at this point, at best, we're getting a cast damage stacking sort of build. So if I see a Well of Charon option to enhance my special, or sorry, my cast, I might as well take that as well. All right.
Should be the place.
Looks like we won't be able to afford the diamond without a little bit more.
Going back.
I don't think there's really much from Hermes I would want other than his legendary, but we're not set up for it because I didn't take any of the cast focused ones.
Something to eat, boy?
Being able to cast faster is kind of nice, but it's just not that much for us. I guess I buy those Palms and Hermes. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's buy the Palms and Hermes. We went for a gimmick build. We didn't get our gimmick build. Hermes, what you got?
I'll pay for that.
My heavy-breathing professional associate was gracious enough to drop me off here with his other stuff, and for quite an affordable price at that.
Auto reload. So you actually, you know what? I forgot. I forgot that it makes you regenerate your casts faster. This is only 0.5 seconds faster, but it's still pretty fast. That's still something. It's a sixth of our. It's a 20% increase, I think.
Goes.
All right, let's buy this
God's
Palm.
granted me strength.
Still don't get it on the one that I would like to see it on, but more crit chance on pressure points is nice. Here we go. So yeah, we're dealing 19 damage every 0.2 seconds. And a reasonably high chance to crit because of it, which will then stack our God Gauge really fast.
Cerberus moves for no one, but for Satasax, he can make an exception.
So I guess the goal with this fight is I'm just going to try and keep a constant stream of damage on Hades where possible so that he always has gray health going. Obviously, if he uses his teleport and invisibility move or he phases, we're not going to be able to maintain that. But in every other instance, I want to see gray bar HP and nothing else. Well, obviously red bar, but it's going to be quickly debilitating.
As I could.
Depleting.
Enjoying the delicate warmth of the surface, but Zagreus. Apparently, the generosity of the goddess of seasons knows no bounds.
Yeah, she specifically chose to target you on this one, Hades, and it feels kind of lame.
It does feel a bit different, maybe. Though Demeter said something about how this spot in particular would remain bereft of warmth as a reminder. Do you think she knows what happened with Mother, really?
I think all the Olympians kind of know, except for maybe the ones that are a bit more oblivious or less interested. I don't think Ares or Artemis would care. Dionysus is too hungover or too drunk to know anything. But a lot of the other ones, I think, the ones that actually, like, think. Well, that's discrediting Ares and Artemis. The ones that have emotional investment in others or think. Specifically targeting Dionysus for both of those. I mean, he does take emotional investment in Zagreus, but I digress.
Demeter may harbor vengeful feelings and suspicions, but she is no fool. Experience teaches us to know when to quit. Though evidently, that is a lesson you have yet to learn.
Sorry, Hades, not interested in quitting at any point. I have an addiction, and I'm laying full weight into it. What are you doing with that spear, my dude? Alright. So we generate God Gauge relatively fast. I do need to be careful. I forgot we are on Extreme Measures 4, so that makes this a little bit... I should respect Dad maybe a little bit more. Also, we have a maximum calisthenics program, which means he is a tinky man. But we now have full God Gauge, which means this happens, and enemies just get popped. I guess I really didn't need Skelly's Keepsake, at least... No, I don't feel like I needed it yet. If we had gotten Glacial Glare, honestly, we would be slowing him down. He would be so much easier to deal with. It's the fact that we don't have Glacial Glare that makes this a little bit more scarier than I had maybe calculated for initially. I'm going to use Meg here for the sake of trying to take out what I can, but also... Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Well, hopefully we can at least get rid of that. At least we got rid of that one. Oh no, it teleported out of the way, so wow, we completely wasted Meg. Alright, so I think the choice here is to just try and focus on evading because these serpents are scary. Whoop, okay. Made it out of that. We don't have to worry about tight deadlines, so I can play super safe and just dash about and spam cast. Oh, these Gorgon heads just kind of disappear and then reappear out of nowhere. I actually used the... Whoop, hold on. Not only did I use the Greater Call there defensively to have the iframes on it, but I also used the recall on my spear, this move, the dash on the spear, to dodge and attack there too. That was pretty fancy. I felt pretty good. I have to be ready for Cerberus to pop out at any point, and I have a lot of tools to dodge his moves. Lasers, his lasers versus my lasers clearly are winning. And we have a Greater Call, let's go ahead and pop that, and watch his HP just get... We didn't get a single crit there, did we? Oh, well, gotta love that auto target. I was trying to throw to the left, and the game said you're gonna throw down into a pot and get killed by it. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. I do have to be very careful, because now I still have one Death Defiance, so it's not like it's the end of the world. But it's definitely not the beginning either. I think it's honestly faster to just keep the crystal beams on him and focus on my damage here. As we stack up the God Gauge, and that means I can do this and just watch his HP get melted real quick. Cerberus should be coming out any second now. Like I said. Okay. Oh, hold on. We dodged it. We dodged all. Oh my goodness. How did I not get hit there at all? I got really lucky, or I positioned beautifully. I don't want to give myself too much credit there. I don't think I deserve it. Dad, stop spamming your lasers. Well, that's not fair. I'm spamming mine. Why can't he spam his? All right, one more phase. Let's drop more crystals.
I can't.
You can't kill me.
Yes, I can.
Not yet.
Yes, I can. I can do it. I can do it. Watch.
I'll take
watch.
care of this.
Whoop, hello. Yeah, like I said, Crystal Clarity makes this boss way easier. I don't care about this, Dad. All you're doing is giving me a chance for more. Whoop, well, okay, well.
Picked up their scent.
When he heals himself, if you have the DPS, you can out DPS his heal. And for me, it's not necessarily that I'm out DPSing it, but I stack up so much greater call gauge or God gauge that I can use greater call.
You have defeated me somehow.
And then that greater call,
And yet,
if that greater call crits, then I've done more damage than what he healed. So it's worth it for me.
Geron, take me home.
That was actually a really fast phase 3.
See you at home.
Not a clean Hades,
In
but
my
a pretty
father's name.
but overall not a bad run. So that begs the question then, what carried this run? Because I'm a little miffed at Demeter for just scorning us, but I guess that is thematically appropriate given the dialogue that happened in this game. This is just going to be the episode titled Demeter Was Mad. All right, so Achilles, Crystal Beam, Crystal Clarity, of course, are going to be the big celebratory boons. And then it's a matter of what after that? I'd say I would probably argue for just the cast upgrades that Chaos gave us, but I almost want to just say Heart of Stone. Honestly, I think that's it. I think that's all we need to show. Boldy believed in us, and that's what really matters. If you believe in Boldy, Boldy believes in you. And Boldy believes in the you who believes in Boldy. And you believe in the Boldy who believes in you. Shout out to all those Gurren Lagann fans. 58 on our win streak, 90 total clears. We're almost at 100 total clears. That's wild. I have played a lot of Hades, Kiwi. And not just on this channel, or on a recording.
After defeating his Lord Father yet again, Prince Zagreus begins to shiver and catch cold. And, as is well known, there sadly is no cure for such a thing.
Unless Demeter wills it, and Demeter did not will it. How appropriate that we got the cold shoulder from Demeter, and then we die of cold. Demeter was so mad this entire run.
Everyone, he's back! Guess you're here to stay.
I've nothing left to teach you, lad.
Dusa, I think that Nyx has some concerns, maybe with me, because it's like you said, she doesn't want us talking here like this. Is she not satisfied with the work you've been doing or something?
Oh, Prince, no, it isn't you. It's definitely me. There's all these things she said I need to work on. Calmness, not making so many lists, putting things into perspective, not working myself too hard, not taking blame for things that aren't my fault.
Oh, wow. So Nyx actually does have some comments that might be to Deuce's benefit. I mean, the way she says it could probably be handled better, but it does sound like maybe she does have she has some care for Deuce. She's just doing it as more of like a servant master sort of vibe. I don't know. The way she's talked about Deuce hasn't felt that way. Maybe Deuce is recontextualizing things and kind of vocalizing her own insecurities rather than what Nyx is really saying to her, and this is just how Deuce is interpreting it. I don't know, but it still doesn't feel that great. I think Deuce definitely deserves better.
Those sound like reasonable goals, though I just wish that Nyx could find a way to tell you that wasn't so upsetting. Won't you take care of yourself, Dusa, please?
That's basically what I said, but Zagreus said it better. Well said, Zagreus.
And plus, she said I'm not supposed to talk to you. She said that too. Oh, I am going to be in so much trouble. Ah!
Oh.
This isn't working.
Looks like we have more dialogue on that plot line to travel.
You, boy.
All three of Cerberus the Watchdog's terrifying countenances greet the prince.
Well, all in
You've
all,
had enough to eat lately, haven't you, boy?
not a terrible run, but not the run I was hoping to have, especially as a follow-up to the last couple runs that have just been absolutely wildly out of control. But that said, I can't complain too much. It was a pretty
Our
clean...
security efforts in Asphodel are evidently lacking.
It was a pretty clean Extreme Measures 4 redacted fight. I can't complain too much. 1 Titan Blood for 15 keys, gladly will take that.
The featured house servant Achilles.
Alright, Chef, give us our due.
I come to you bearing aquatic beasts.
Some gems and some darkness. Ooh, finally some darkness. Always happy to see darkness because we are hurting for it.
Alas, you have seen much of Hypnos lately, child. I hope you find his disposition somewhat tolerable. Please tell me plain if this is not the case.
We are best friends and he makes excellent lists. I like Hypnos.
Oh, he's not so bad, Nyx. Be proud of your sleepy, cheerful son. Who else among us is able to muster that kind of enthusiasm?
I wish she had a follow-up to that comment because I feel like... I understand that she doesn't really have much to say about that, but I wish she did. Alright, well, let's go ahead and say goodnight to Skelly, Kiwi. As far as the next run goes, let's see what the Dark Thirst is telling us to run this time. The sword. Okay. So I have a build plan for the sword. We're going to take Arthur again, and we're going to go for a maximum slow build. My goal is to stack as much chilled and as much slow down effects as possible. Combo that with a special, and we'll see the slowest enemies in the game. But that's a plan for next episode. Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're asleep, I hope you're sleeping well. I love you, and I will see you in
You're gonna hit me over here or what?
next one. Take care now, hun.